I'm the Notorious B.I.G. I would say you're... I don't know, has Pee Wee Herman ever rapped? Welcome to episode 48 of 30-something Gamers. As always, with me, Tom, also known as Revival Online. And as always, I am joined by the Leisure Suit Larry to my Guybrush Threepwood, and that is Boxy Arty. How are you, Boxy?
I quite like the fact that you're a coward and I'm a pervert.
Whoa. Guybrush Threepwood is not a coward.
Yes, he
He's
is.
a pirate. He searched for the treasure of Big Whoop. He defeated LeChuck on multiple occasions. He always throws himself in. You can only be brave if you are scared.
He fails upwards, which
He
is very much
does.
us.
He does. And Leisure Suit Larry is an absolute pervert, and you always make penis jokes. So if you don't, by the way, if you don't know, Leisure Suit Larry and Guybrush Threepwood are two main characters in old point and clicks. Guybrush from Monkey Island and Leisure Suit Larry from the games of his own name, where in the original ones around the Amiga and stuff, they used to be point and click games. These point and click games were brutal. You take the wrong turn and you could die. You could fall off a cliff. You could walk into a forest, get killed by a bear. In Leisure Suit Larry, you could have unprotected sex and die of gonorrhea.
And there's a game called Wet Dreams Might Dry.
Is that a Leisure Suit Larry game?
Something like
I
that.
have never. That is a great subtitle for a game of that sort of genre.
There's Magna Cum Laude,
Yeah, that's
and
that's
it's
the
like
new one on the 360, isn't it?
where Wet Dreams Might Dry or something like that.
He's got a load of games, you know. He's got like eight. There's 8 or 9
He
games. I'm sure of it.
started off on the Amiga. He's an
Yeah,
OG.
he is. He is. Anyway, before we get into anything, just going to mention again, it is episode 48. So in a couple of episodes' time, we will be doing a live episode for our 50th special. And we do want you to ask us anything, an AMA, as per se, but or whatever, that's what it's called. In the comments below, any questions you want to ask to do with gaming, to do with, I don't know, our lives. We might not answer them, but if it's funny, we might. Podcasting, content creation, anything you want to ask. Please be about games, but you can ask anything, and we will try and answer them live when we do our episode. We will let you know probably in the next episode when it's going to happen, the date, and things like that, so you can get ready, buy your popcorn, and witness that we actually do this with no editing. We just talk. We are just lyrical geniuses. I would say I am the Big Nasty. Is that one? Is that what's his name? Is Big Nasty a one? No, Big Nasty's the English. I'm thinking of a Notorious B.I.G. That's what I mean. I'm the Notorious B.I.G. I would say you're... I don't know. Has Pee Wee Herman ever rapped?
I thought you were saying. I thought you were trying to say the big tasty, Tom. I say
The
that's from
big...
McDonald's.
I'll be... You know what it is? I will be the Big Tasty. You can be the Double Big Mac.
I
And...
am John, and you are Ringo. Though Ringo was pretty cool.
I'll be... You are a drummer. Why would I be Ringo?
Ringo's a wonderful drummer. He's very underrated, I think.
Oh,
And
and he narrated Thomas the Tank Engine. Oh no,
and
Thomas.
he wrote one of the best Beatles songs, Octopus Garden.
Octopus's Garden.
Sorry, Octopus's Garden.
Right, okay, let's move on from Boxy not knowing anything about one of the greatest bands of all time. As we know, Boxy needs to be told what to do. On this episode, many times we understand it is very slowly and with the detail you would give to a half-wit, because he turns up most of the episodes not knowing what to do. He's not prepared. He's done the wrong thing. He's misinterpreted a very simple question. But we want to know what happens when he can do whatever he wants. Oh, when the shackles are off and he's in his own little sandbox. Well, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be talking about sandbox games, sandbox RPGs, the like of that. But first, I want to know, Boxy, because it makes me so happy at the minute, because I know what the main answer is going to be. What have you been playing?
That introduction was unnecessarily harsh, by the way.
I think giving you half a wit was quite generous, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. The quiz debacle where you didn't have any questions, the misunderstanding my questions all the time. You should be honoured.
You always hang on to the little things, Tom. Yes, I have just been slogging away with Final Fantasy X, which I have now bought on physical. Did you see?
I saw in that video the new games that you bought, and you bought. So that means you bought the game twice, digitally and.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was more of I bought it more for the collector's side of things, because my copy has got the game and like an art book with it, which I thought was a
Oh,
neat
right,
little
okay.
thing to get.
Oh, he's been dragged in. He's a Final Fantasy collector. It's got
Absolutely not.
artwork, collector's editions. How many times do you own Final Fantasy X? At least two.
Yeah. I'm never playing this game again, by the way, when I finish it. Not in a bad way, but like you, it's definitely a one time only.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I've played it once, maybe twice through, and I might
Yeah,
do it again on stream. But I've always been like that. I'm never a go back and play a game over and over and over and over again.
no. I will say it is easing up a bit on the cutscene ratios. Like I don't mind them, but with the level of story that it's projecting and all the kind of faffing around of just people going, because they do that a lot.
Okay. Well, what part of the story are you up to?
So we've just defeated Seymour and his giant, well-dressed halibut.
Yeah, yeah, we
And
mentioned that on the last show. That's his summon, Anima, who doesn't look. He looks like he's a monster that is pulled from the depths of hell by a chain, and you're calling him a halibut.
he's fishing with a big chain to the depths of hell, and he's
Is
pulled
that
up.
why you see a halibut? Because it looks
Yeah,
like a fish. I didn't
it
even
is.
think about that.
It's he has a big like anchor thing which he plummets down to the
Because he's
depths of
pulling them from the seven stages of hell. He's not fishing in the Lake District. He doesn't have any bait on the end.
in Hell's Duck Pond. Right. So yeah, got rid of him, and now we're just wandering vast emptiness levels of desert, just in battles every 30 seconds, just grinding up. I'm finding the sphere thing quite satisfying,
Yeah, yeah.
filling up the holes, you
Well,
know?
have you ever seen it? If you've had once you've finished it and then you want to have a look, there are people who do sort of challenge runs where they don't use a sphere grid at all. They
Ugh.
don't fill anyone, and then they do people some do some runs where they fill the complete sphere grid. So if you have not played Final Fantasy X, it moved away from your simple thing of you defeat an enemy, you get experience, you level up, your strength goes up, and blah blah. And what it did was when you leveled up, it meant you could move on this big sort of board, which is like a board game, and you have spheres. And when you move around the board, you might land on a one that is this gives you two strength, this gives you this spell, this gives you two speed, and you have to use these spheres that you collect to unlock them, and your character goes up. But it obviously means the certain part you are sort of locked in at the start,
Mm.
and you sort of so this character is going to be a magic person, so you got lots of magic stuff. This person's going to be a warrior, so they get lots of strength and that type of things. But you can sort of start to go any direction you want once you've done their basic skills. So you can say, right, they're a great warrior, but I want them to have a little bit of magic for healing or whatever. And you can take them down them when you get these things that unlock those parts of the board. By the way, they don't all have an individual board. They are all on the same board. It is just huge. So some people do it where they fill the whole board. You can imagine how much grinding that takes.
Yeah,
Because obviously,
I can imagine.
as you get stronger, it's harder to move up a sort of level with that.
I did have to jump into a strategy guide though, because on the Seymour battle, I was hitting such a wall where I was like, I didn't know what I was doing wrong, but
Can I
yeah,
just ask where did you? Because I re, in our last episode we talked about bosses that overstay the welcome, and I mentioned Seymour because he keeps coming back and back and back. So I've got a few boss fights of Seymour in my head, but there is one I remember. What was the environment that you fought him in? Was it a snowy mountain?
yes, he has like two helpers
I
who
can't.
heal
I,
him.
I can remember there's one time, and I think it's the time it must be the first one. I didn't know which one it was, where you fight him, and I'm sure it's in like an icy place. It might be some sort of side story to do with Kamari. I don't know whether he talks before or talks after or something like that. Has Kamari talked yet?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
says a couple of things, yeah.
yeah, okay.
But no, like
So it's that part. But listen.
uh,
I struggled so much when I got there, and now with the joy of the internet, people say that is one of the biggest, steepest learning curve sort of you can just get by and then you get to him and it's just like whoosh, this boss is so much harder than anything that we've hit before.
yeah. Well, what I couldn't understand was like I was battling twin, and he's gone for so fucking long as well. That's what I struggle with. Even if you feel like you're making somewhat progress, you can have just one go where he completely obliterates all your team, and you can't do anything about it, and you have to go all the way back to the beginning, which takes you to the menu. By the way, it's not that you can't just pick it up from your last checkpoint. You have to go to load and then find your save point, and then watch the wanky danky cutscene again and all that stuff. But here's what I found myself doing. So he has these two little pawn people healing him constantly whenever you hit
Hmm.
him. I had no idea that Riku can steal items
Yeah.
from these people
Well, why did you not know that Rika could steal?
because no one told you.
Well, yeah, I know, but she's got like in our menu things she can do. She's got steal.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that accumulated to stealing the power that they have to heal each other.
Yeah, there are some fights, but that's the whole point. You got to work these things out.
Yeah. But anyway, when I figured that out, it
Follow the
became a hell
strategy
of
guide.
it became a lot easier. But there is like I think there's a lot of trial and error involved in this game.
In what regards?
Well, through Seymour's battle, there is a real focus on making sure you use your summons at certain times because your
Hmm.
team just cannot sustain the
Yeah, yeah,
damage
yeah,
that
yeah.
the overpowered attacks do. So you always have to bring in the summon just before those
To
big
absorb the
attacks.
damage. To
Yeah,
absorb the damage.
but
Yeah.
like if you're
Yeah.
going in cold, you won't have any clue about that.
Yeah,
So
but you're a lover of Dark Souls games, and I would say most Dark Souls boss are trial and error. You would never beat one really on a first go.
yeah, but I can argue that most Dark Souls battles only last about a few minutes.
Mm,
Final Fantasy battles last 20, 30 fucking hours sometimes.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Don't know about
Mm.
that. I think you're stretching there. So, have you played anything else, or has it just been a bit of Final Fantasy X in your eyes?
It's just been Final Fantasy X, but I have indulged myself and brought some games. I'm developing my collector status a bit more now.
Oh, it is.
I brought Silent Hill on the PS1.
I did see that. Have you got Black Label or Silver
Black.
Platinum? Oh, I see. I got Platinum. You're
Ah,
beating me. You're beating me.
ah.
See, for me, my PS1 collection has got lots of platinums in. I'm not too bothered, like because I'm going for a full PS2. The platinum ones on that, I don't want them. I want all the originals. But with those games, if Silent Hill is 30 quid cheap because it's got a little bit of silver on the bottom, I will take it.
Yeah. I got that, which I was really happy about. I got Yakuza Dead Souls as well, which was like the zombie spin-off.
I saw that one, and I've never seen that game. I've never seen anything about it.
No, it's a kind of spin-off no one asked for, and it's pretty mediocre from what I've heard, but I quite like Yakuza, and I just thought it'd be quite a dumb game too. What's weird is there's no hand-to-hand combat. It's all shooting, which
Oh, all
Yakuza's
right,
never
okay,
really
yeah,
done. Never,
yeah.
Yakuza's never done before, so I'm keen to give it a go. But they say it's a bit monotonous and a bit repetitive, but something different. And I was gonna buy a Metal Gear Solid Collector's Edition, which was like the main game with an additional, not a demo disc, but like an expansion of it almost.
Was that on the PlayStation One?
Yeah.
Is it got like the green cover
Yes.
rather than anything? So that
Yes.
is you basically get Metal Gear Solid, and then you get the VR missions as well
Yeah, that's it.
included
Yeah.
in that one. Yeah. So I've got the original Metal Gear Solid, just the normal version of it, but I do have the PC version, big box, and that has got the VR missions on. And I loved the VR missions when I was a kid. They were really cool. And there's some really cool ones in there. They're not just all sort of like combat and stuff like that. There's some obviously Kojima-esque ones and some funny ones and stuff like that. So that is good. That is a cool little
But
add-on.
I was developing behavior traits, which I had to tell myself off about really because I took it to the guy and it didn't have a price tag on it. And because it's like the two games, which has got like a big sleeve over it. So it is a big, it looks like a nice collector's thing to
Hmm.
have on the shelf. And I said, "Oh, how much is this?" And then he told me, and it was like 200 quid or something. And I was the guy who got out his phone and was looking up like eBay and Games Eye and all this
Well,
kind of thing to
yeah.
see whether I could justify whether his price was right. And I was just like, well, on eBay, it's going for this, and Game Eye
Did
says it's worth this much. And
did
he
you
was
haggle
like,
them down?
well, he brought it down a bit, but I didn't go for it in the end.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah, but I didn't like it.
No, but it is when you're spending that amount of money on a game. I don't think it's bad to have a check on your phone to see is this a good deal because you can know like even if you know the games that are expensive when you video game collecting, you can't know every version and every sort of. Oh, this one's got like I've got a game like a PS2 game of Futurama, and the cover's
Oh,
purple, which meant it was only released in Blockbuster. You could only buy that one from Blockbuster, so it's slightly more. The game's the same, it's slightly more expensive, but like little things like that, you just can't know them all. So you look at it and you think, why is it that expensive?
yeah.
And and especially when you're doing retro games, there are some people who hike prices up, and there are some people you go to car boots and you can get great things at car boots, but then they'll go, all those games are all like a fiver because they're PS1, and there's games for like a quid, 2 quid you can get for PS1. You know what I mean? Like it's Bust a Move, and it's some crappy like Actua Soccer, and it's like, oh, it's PS1, it's fiver, it's like a retro game. So it's always good to check. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't end that. That's not a toxic trait. That is sensible. I mean, this is the guy who spent that much on Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So, we'll
Which actually,
yeah,
good business acumen. I spent 500 quid on that game. Now worth, do you want to guess?
510.
725.
Are you going to sell it?
Nope.
So it means nothing. With that, I always do that with my games. Well, it's worth this now. Are you going to sell them? No, no. It's just. I'm just
It's a,
showing it. It's an investment.
it's a numbers game. Anyway, let's move on to the best part of this podcast. Actually, now we're kind of full blown Spotify. They do polls, and we can actually put
Do a
out to the
poll.
fans, because there are some out there,
Hmm.
on who's better at trivia.
Well, we can do. Yeah, maybe that's the one that we put off on the 50th episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah,
that
do it
sounds good.
live.
It's not fair because I've been doing it for longer, like answering questions. So there's that many different genres of trivia that I've answered. There's obviously the odd episode where I've not got very many right, and but I think we need two polls because we also need who's the best trivia master because you might get more questions right because my questions are better. All I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, who hosts trivia? I think that's a better thing. I mean, it's obvious that none of us are good at answering these
I
shit
don't know. I don't know.
questions.
I don't know if we should do that because
Why?
I can see it in your eyes that you want so much to be the best question master.
I
And
would be
if
quite hurt
I was
if it
gonna
wasn't.
say, oh, now you can play on the sympathy vote. Oh well, actually, it would ruin my life if you told me I wasn't a good trivia master. Nah, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I think we should
I
do
can
it.
take it. I'll get angry. I'll get like funnily angry. Whereas I feel like you, I don't know, would cry in the shower so no one can see the tears.
I do that anyway.
Oh,
Anyway, right, let's begin. Da 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 da. How am I supposed to know that?
nice, normal. Like
Normal
it.
one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cold, original.
yeah.
Original draft. Right. Hello. This is trivia. This is my favorite part of the podcast where we find out whether Tom is a true gamer or whether he's one of these posers who thinks that Sword of the Sea is when he does the backstroke and does his tiny little shark impression
I've been swimming this morning.
with an
I
erection.
I've not been swimming with an erection. No,
Okay.
it's counterproductive. It's not aerodynamic to have an erection in any sort of race.
No. Talking about Tom in a horrific image of him in a swimming costume, we're talking about
Jesus.
costumes,
Brutal.
outfits.
Oh, it does fit in. I'll take. That was a good segue. That one. I like that one. Look, he's getting good at this, isn't he? 47, 48, 78 episodes. Oh, you're doing good. I
Not
like
just
it.
not just a pretty face. Right,
No,
so we
people.
are talking about famous video game outfits, what these guys wear. I'm
Okay.
going to be having a big poke around in their wardrobes, and
All right. Okay. You know what?
just
I got a little bit excited. I was hoping it was going to be because we're a video podcast now. You're going to go off camera and come on cosplaying as all the characters.
that would have been a good idea, but no.
That's
Um,
too much prep for you. That's
you
far
have
too much prep.
you have to use your imagination because we're going shopping, baby, right? We're going to look in these wardrobes, we're going to have a look. I'm going to describe the clothes, and you've got to guess which character is wearing them. Sounds easy because it is. Yes?
Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, let's open this one up. This is a kind of sexy wardrobe.
A sexy wardrobe. Is that like the one from Beauty and the Beast? Got a mouth.
Yeah, let's look in these drawers. Right. We have a pair of glasses, some,
Okay.
some high heels,
Okay.
a skin tight black suit. Oh, it's getting hot in here.
Mhm.
I think it's leather. Whoa, wait a minute. Oh, fuck. This is hair.
I thought you'd completely like. I thought you just yeah, you didn't know any lore about the game, and you were just going to describe it. And I was going to go. I was going to do your as we know Boxy in a meeting. Well, actually, it's not leather. It's a good
Answer
one.
the damn question.
I think you make these rounds because you like your little seductive intro. You know when we did like you made the trivia round about Tinder,
Oh
and you're
yeah.
making like this is about costumes, but somehow you're making it trying to make it a sultry, sexy.
Well, just this one because this is the sexiest one.
Yeah, this. Oh, okay, so it's downhill from here. This is Bayonetta.
Wonderful. Yes, it is Bayonetta. Well done.
Hmm.
This is the kind of the going out collection, you know.
Yes, yeah. So if you didn't know, Bayonetta's whole costume is her hair because
Mm,
it sort of moves around and changes. She doesn't wear a suit made of hair. Her hair just forms around her.
yeah. It's the going out in Sunderland vibe. Kebab, tattoo, and a stab. Right.
What's that going to do, Bayonetta? That was just a go at where I'm from. That was nothing to do with Bayonetta.
Just a dig. Right, next question.
Good lie.
This is formal. I feel very like I've arrived here,
You arrived.
We have a white tuxedo with a purple cravat, matching white top hat with purple band, and for some reason this suit has been tailored to not allow any spikes or sharp objects to rip through the material.
I do know it at first when you said white suit. You mentioned purple. It was the cravat that was off. I was thinking you were thinking of Lance Vance from Vice City. But is it? I'm sure it's a purple shirt. He has enough. But when you moved on, I realised I don't think spice up there. Is it a small Italian plumber wearing a wedding suit?
Nope.
What?
The clues at the end
Is it? Is it Bowser?
is Bowser, yeah. But
Oh, right, okay.
you said Mario first of all, so
Well,
you
I
don't
know
know.
what Mario wears. You can get the same suit for Mario.
But
So
that's
if you,
why I said the spikes. He's got like a kind of
yeah, but
tailored version where the
Mario falls on spikes as well.
yeah, but no, Bowser has spikes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like, oh, it's so when he falls on spikes he doesn't die.
Nah.
I get the point.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
This is a kind of the casual look kind of wardrobe. This is like something I would have. We have a dark sort of green military jacket, plain white undershirt, jeans, boots, and there's also a little pocket where you can hold your pens, notebook, or maybe even a light.
Okay, why do you say this is your vibe? I've never seen you wearing anything that James Sunderland would wear.
Oh, very clever. Oh, we're just gonna slip the answer in,
Ah, yeah. Told you, don't ask the questions about a character who has my hometown in his name. I'm always going to get it right.
I
You've never wore anything like that any of
I
the
did
last year that I've known you.
I deliberately look like shit when I talk to you for my own reasons. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on.
You're
Oh,
fuming, I've got them all.
I think this bloke must have been arrested. We have a plain white t-shirt with an exclamation mark on it. No trousers, not even any pants.
Right. Is that it?
Yeah, this is it.
Right. You have brought so much attention to this character that you apparently hate. And when we talked about a game that he has, is it out yet? Is it released or is it coming out? Because you know I know the answer.
Yeah, you know the answer. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's come out yet, but it's coming.
You just demanded the whole time, who is this made for? What is this about? You are obsessed with Bubsy, the Bobcat from the Mega Drive game, who's going to get a game coming out.
Yeah.
Why do you bring him up so much? There are no podcasts out there that have talked about Bubsy the Bobcat as much as this one, and apparently you hate him.
And that's what separates us from the masses. No, I mean, in this context, I'm talking about costumes and outfits. At least it's kind of significant for him. If I just described like Marcus or Halo or Master Chief, it's just going to be the same thing. So you'd be like, oh, well, it could be this bloke and it could be that bloke. So your questions are
Don't
shit.
get defensive because you realise and how I didn't say your question was crap. I'm just saying you love Bubsy. I can't. Why can't I say Bubsy's name?
Stock
You love a bit of Bubsy.
Stockholm syndrome. You just get
Yeah,
used to the terror.
but you were kidnapped and handcuffed to a radiator by a bobcat. How did you
That's
do
one
that?
for the
He hasn't even got thumbs. You're never getting out of them. You can't do the key.
that's one for the priest. Right, last one. You're doing quite well.
I've got them all right. Of course, they're done quite well.
No,
Doing
you haven't
great.
got. You didn't
I got.
do get Mario.
No, yeah, I did.
No, no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
even
Right.
arguing it.
Oh, this is a kind of I don't know, adventurous kind of wardrobe, brown leather type. We've got a brown aviator style helmet with some kind of aviator goggles on the top, kind of murkish brownish jumper, long socks, and some simple brogues.
Some simple brogues. I like how you said, "Oh, this is adventurous." Brown leather, like it's the most boring thing ever. But then I thought about Indiana Jones. He wears a lot of brown leather, and he's very adventurous. So I take it back. Could this be a little character? I think it was originally an Xbox game. I don't know whether it came like OG Xbox. I don't know whether it came out on the system. It did. It came out on the PS2. Am I in the right era?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know his name. Do I get it if I say the name of the game?
No, you gotta get the character.
Oh, but it's Psychonauts, isn't it? It's the main
Yeah.
character from Psychonauts. I don't think I can remember his name. Um, Willie P. Psychonauts.
Not even fucking close. Raz. Rasputin.
Rasputin. All right, okay. I'll take half a point.
Ra ra Rasputin.
It was about
Yeah.
him, that song. He's Russia's greatest love machine. That's one of the minds you go into. You just knocking boots in Serbia. Is Serbia Russian? It was
Absolute
once.
banger. So I guess you got 5 out of 5, but really you got 3 out of 5. So congratulations.
Uh, you hate it when I get them all right. You
Let's
hate
close it
it.
out. Da 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 da. I know a surprisingly large amount of information about what characters in video games wear.
I like how if I do well, you try and turn it into like that's weird. Oh, so you don't know about games, but you know about what they're wearing. Yeah, you pervert. Like that's you can't have me have anything. Anyway,
You did get Bayonetta like that.
I did, but there's not many people wear a suit of hair.
True.
Pushing 40, it's starting to look like it for me, but it's not magical hair that I can transform in anything I want. So let's move on to somewhere you wouldn't want to find hair, a sandbox. Because if there's hair, there's probably cat shit there as well. This is a topic that I recently mentioned to Boxy about bringing on the show because it is a genre of game that's not really clicked with me in my past. I've not really been a sandbox gameplay. And if we're talking about sandboxes, normally we're talking about games where you can just go in and you can do anything you want. There's no real story or sort of mainline push with it, like sort of a Minecraft or games of that sort of ilk. I like saying of that ilk. Makes me sound a little bit smart. But what we're also is we're pushing this out to include games like sandbox RPGs, sort of like um the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, where yes, you've got a story going through it, but there are so many mechanics and stuff are in there. You can just go in and you can just do whatever you want. Some people play hours and hours of a game and never sort of really focus on the main story, or that's not what they're playing it for. I've never liked these games. I've never been into them. I think me and Boxy have famously mentioned on the show that we neither of us have really enjoyed Skyrim or played it that much. I played Fallout 3. I've got like the platinum on it, and I've got on Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I've got the platinum. But that was I think one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy them much. Back when I sort of was playing around that era, I was a platinum hunter, and you'd play these games, and everything I did was focus around: do I need to get a trophy for this? And because they were so massive, if it was like a 100-hour games to get the platinum, I thought, well, I'm not going to go and sit on the lake and fish for half an hour because I'm not going to get a trophy with it. Or it was more sort of, I just want to know the main story. I've always been narrative driven and sort of and move on for it. And some games have done it really well when it comes to side story, but I think sometimes side content, the writing doesn't seem as good and it tends to sort of become repetitive. But recently, that has changed for me, very recently, which is why I thought I would ask some of you guys on the TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, 30 something gamers, drop us a follow if you don't already. I would ask for some of the games that you've played online where you've enjoyed and things like that. Like even like Boxy, when you played Grand Theft Auto, okay, what was your ratio of just playing it and doing the main sort of story to just dicking about?
When I was young, it was just all about the dicking about.
See, it was never that for me. I've never been this sort of like, oh, I've got this massive city where I do anything in. I'm just going to dig about. I would do it for 5, 10 minutes and like, right, I want to get onto like some progression now.
I
Or I
think
want,
it was more about like just breaking the boundaries of what you were so used to in gaming.
Mhm.
Like the fact that you didn't have to do the story if you didn't want to. I had never had that before. So, yeah, Vice City, straight away, you get on the moped, you listen to Billie Jean for 5 minutes, you put in the cheat code, which would give you all the weapons, and you just see how high you could get your wanted level up. And then you
Yeah.
get on a rooftop somewhere and just see how long you could survive.
But like I'm saying, so you would do that for like ages. Like I
Yeah.
would do that, but once I did it once, I'd be like, right, that's it. I'm getting back onto the story now. Reload it up, boom, get on. And I don't know, I just never. But then the reason it changed recently for me is I've recently been playing Crimson Desert.
Hmm.
Now I think someone mentioned that it was this way, but I've not seen any official things from it, so I'm not gonna say this verbatim. But it feels like it was an MMO RPG that got
Yeah.
changed mid sort of when they were making it. Someone mentioned that to me, and
Yeah.
it definitely goes, yes, I can see that. Have you heard whether that is true or
Yeah, so it's changed directions a lot apparently, and even it made like a really big change literally just before it released as well. And I think the developers, their previous game was an MMO
right?
RPG, so that's their bread and butter.
Right,
And I
because
think why
when
people like this game so much is because it's
mhm,
doing so much. Like
yeah,
it's appealing to people who like combat, appealing to who like story, people who just
yeah.
like to go out and do their own thing.
Well, I think when it comes to the game, the reason why sort of done is I started playing it on stream, and one of the reasons, one of the big reasons I played it is I saw lots of people putting videos up against about it, saying how much they liked it, and obviously at the start of the year, I said I'm gonna try and play more games as they come out. So I thought I'll stream this and have a sort of play around with it. Um, because I'm not trophy hunting anymore, that drive to what do I need to do? Check I don't miss anything out and stuff like that. That's gone. And by the way, I checked it's a 300-hour platinum, so screw that. And when I started playing it, and this probably goes and why it's lured me in. The story isn't great.
Mm.
The beat for beat, the story is not amazing, and that's not what's. But I still find myself going. I want to go and play Crimson Desert. And what I did is I probably made so little progress when I first started the game. I did like a 3 hour stream of it, and I was just because I'd seen everyone doing whatever. I'm just gonna go around and see what I can do. And there is definitely a game that big and not by like a AAA studio. There's a bit of jank and stuff in it, but I mean, you get that in Fallout games and Elder Scrolls games, and they've been doing it for years, so you can expect it. But I was just like sort of, I was like a newborn child going, "Ooh, there's a cat. Can I pick it up? Yes, I can. Ooh, can I throw it off a cliff? No, I can't, but I can drop it near the cliff and it will slowly tumble down." Found that out. I got many messages on the chat when I was doing that, so you don't have to give me them anymore. It was just make believe. I was more seeing what I could do rather than wanting to do it. Oh,
Too right, you cruel bastard.
I put a video. I sort of I started a Weatherspoons brawl and then ran
Okay.
away from the police, which had nothing to do with it. But I was just enjoying it. It was funny, like sort of. I found you could pick any chair up, right? And to me, that just it's like oh, I can pick a chair up. Like it was like I'd seen something for the first time, and then one of the things is the controls. There is so much to do. There is so much attached to every single button, and it's context sensitive when you do it. So I'm in this Weatherspoons with a stool. Well, it's not Weatherspoons. It's an ye olde medieval tavern, and I'm walking around, and this guy, I walk up to him, and he literally in this voice. If you haven't seen a box, you have a look at my channel. He goes, "Oh, I've been up all night with my baby. What? He just called me pa for the first time." And that had me chuckling. I was like, "Oh, well done, mate." I pressed the wrong button, and I yeeted this stool right off his face. And as soon as he did it, it came up assault witnessed. So all the guards were coming after me. I didn't know what I was doing. So when I was running away and everyone was running, because when you see where the spoons fight, when there's no mobile phone to record it, that's what people used to do. They used to run away rather
Mhm.
or stop it rather than video it to try and make money online. And then I started like tackling people because I didn't know that if I ran and had a certain button down, so the guards are chasing us, and I just keep assaulting random civilians, and it's got nothing to do with the game, it's got nothing to do with making any progression. But I just thought, oh, that's funny that I enjoy doing that, and
Yeah.
I started to think, is this what sandbox games are about? Just you've got no pressure, no need to progress. You're just doing what you want, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I've heard that from a few people saying like the actual story's not the main drive of the game. It's that freedom of doing whatever you want. Apparently, you can like make your own gangs and there's
all sorts. It's
untapped kind of freedom with it.
it's like little stuff like you go to a campsite and you've got usual games that now have you cooking. You get parts, you can get recipes, and you can make something. And I was trying to make something, but either way, all the names of the food are like terrible. Like it's like meat porridge was one I was making, and then for the whole camp that I was at was really hungry, and they all wanted a soup. What type of soup? Clear soup. Doesn't that sound like it shouldn't be like horrible, but it just who's having clear soup? Or who makes soup and goes, I'm going to describe it as clear.
Water.
Anyway, water. It was water. There was water in it. You put your ingredients in, but then this little thing just was good for it. There was one of the ingredients I didn't have, and it just was a button that said improvise.
Hmm.
Find something else that you can put in and see if it works. Like little things like that. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm just gonna. It's not like I have to. Oh, I'm just doing it. I'm gonna make this meal because it gives us X amount. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna mess around and little things like that. Just make it cool. And like I'm in the minute, I'm running around with a shoe on my head.
It's one that I think they're making tons of updates to it like all the time as
Yeah,
well. So it's always
yeah,
like changing. So I wanted to see where it kind of goes and what the final kind of product looks like before
yeah,
maybe buying it. Like I'm kind of in two minds about open worlds. So on the one hand, yes, I like it when it gives you a big open space to explore and it's very organic and there's lots going on and stuff. But equally, I like games that just let you fuck about and do whatever you
yeah.
want. So like Saints Row 4 is one of my favorite open world
Hmm.
games
Hmm.
because it just gives you every ability, superpower. You can jump really high, you can fly, I think you can run crazy fast, and you've just got this big playground to do it all in. Like that's such good design, I think. And you can just have fun just fucking around without doing the missions. Do you remember Crackdown? Crackdown was like that
Yes,
as
yeah.
well.
I didn't
Yeah.
like Crackdown.
Didn't you?
I
No?
really didn't. But again, obviously, you're talking about Crackdown. You're talking about just like messing around and stuff with it. One of the big things was it you could like knock buildings down, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Like if you jump
Yeah.
there. Whereas I would follow the story and it was just rinse and repeat this base,
Mm.
and it didn't appeal. It was again because I wasn't doing the sandboxy type of stuff. I don't know whether I've just not liked the sandboxy stuff until it's to a point where you can literally do anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like just a or Vice City. Obviously, you can do loads of things, but you can't do every little. It's just the technology wasn't there. So I don't know whether it's that's just like it's sort of like it's real life. Like I can do this, I can do that, and
But
so I'm
someone
sort of
made a comment on our video as well, Just Cause 2, which
yeah,
was,
yeah. I
I
saw
think,
that
a
one.
big step up for open world games like at the time, because
Hmm.
the map was huge.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think it's as big as like GTA 5 or anything like that, but it was a massive map. And you had a grappling hook and explosives, and you could just have so much fun.
See
Just,
things like that. I think are cool when it gives you things like the grappling hook. Like I've never played any of the Just Cause games. But the grappling hook and stuff, I've seen how it works. How you like go on the back of a car and you've got a parachute. Like that's not realistic at all, but it
mm,
makes it fun.
fun. Yeah.
I've seen you can put like rockets on cows and stuff. And like I've seen of, oh, can I actually do this? Like sort of in real life, I'll be able to put a rocket on that cow and that. But game logic from what I've played tells me that normally you wouldn't be able to do that. And I think that's what makes those things cool of finding out what you can do and messing around with them. Like the same with Crimson Sky, like you do have powers and stuff. Like you can sort of fly and not completely, but I think you might be able to unlock it in future. So you have those things too. You got this like big you got in a sense a grappling hook as well in Crimson Sky that
Mm.
you get quite early on, and I've got now so I can get to a building and then fire myself up and things like that. So it is those things. And have you obviously you brought up on Mario and stuff like that. When it comes to platformers, I loved, and I know this is completely different, but it's something that I've been thinking about recently again because of the games I've been playing. Is your old school platformers? You start at A, you go to B, you go across them. Then you got the games like Super Mario 64 and Banjo Kazooie and stuff like that on the N64, where it's more open world. Your world you can sort of go anywhere. But when you loaded the level, because I love Mario 64, I love Banjo Kazooie. When you loaded the level in Mario 64, you've got like 8 different starts, haven't you? And you go like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one, and you got a clue to where the golden star that you're going for on that attempt is. And you can go for different ones, but you've got the clue. And I loved that progression because it was sort of open worldy, but you had that. This is where I'm going. I've started at
yeah,
point
yeah.
A, and I'm going to the top to fight Mr. Bomb or whatever to get the first golden star, and vice
Mm.
on. And then games where more recently we were talking about Super Mario Odyssey, and I said I don't. When we were talking about the like greatest games of all time, and it was in the Metacritic, it was high up there. And I was saying I don't really see it as a huge thing and stuff like that. And I think part of it was because it was that big and there was so
Mm.
many moons to collect. And again, going from an original completionist, I'm thinking that's too much. Have I got enough direction to know where I'm actually going? Do you know what I mean? I can't just go for anywhere. But again, I've been playing it with my 4-year-old recently, and the fact we can when I load up a level with him, I'm not saying right, I'm going to get X amount of moons, I'm going to get that moon and that moon and that moon. I'm just going to let him run around. He sees something, he wants to go there, we'll go there. You know, like a 4-year-old
Mm.
going, oh look at that, go over there, Dad. And I've started doing that. And when we're doing that, because there's that many collectibles and moons, which is the main collectible around, he keeps collecting them. So he gets
Yeah.
that thing of sort of, oh yeah, I've done something. Oh yeah, I've done something. Even though he's just mirandering around and doing whatever he wants. And I
Mm.
start to see Super Mario Odyssey in a different way there, thinking, this is great because it's not like this is where we have to go and do it and he can't do it and we're knackered. It's a go wherever you want and he's going to enjoy it and make that progression on it. So in
Yeah.
that way, that I mean, it's not a sandbox. You wouldn't describe Odyssey as a sandbox game, but it's like I don't know, like an open world platformer over there.
Yeah.
So that's a similar type of thoughts I've had.
It's a game that really rewards experimentation and
Hmm.
exploration. So, like, as you say, you don't know where they are, but if you just try something, chances are you're going to find a
Yeah,
moon.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I remember there's one moon which is ridiculous where you have to find a telescope and you literally have to just hold it on a shooting star or something like
Hmm.
that, and then it comes down. And like no
Right.
one in their right mind would think to do that because it's just really
Apart from maybe a 4-year-old who looks at it and
yeah.
goes, "Oh, look at that! I'm going to look at it," and then something happens. Yeah, yeah, like a company right there.
And
But
the coins in that game really throw a lot of hints there, like
yeah,
coin patterns.
yes,
So if
yeah,
you see
yeah,
a
yeah,
line,
yeah.
it probably goes to something,
Yeah, yeah.
whereas they didn't
Nintendo,
do that as much.
Nintendo are the greatest at show don't tell. They always have been. I was on another podcast recently, and someone was talking about Mario 1-1 and the original Les as being one of the best tutorials of all time. And I didn't realize that they actually mentioned that that was the last level that they made. So what they
Okay.
did is they made the whole game, and then they thought of all the mechanics you need to do in the game, and they worked back through the level. So by the time you finish level one, without any prompts telling you what to do, you knew what to do in the game. You know, your first enemy thing you come up is an enemy. It's a Goomba. You run into it, you die. Ah, I
Mm.
can't run into them. You jump on it, you learn out there. Then the next thing's a box. Oh, I've hit it. Oh, a mushroom comes out. Oh, the mushroom makes it bigger, and you just learn that thing. And I think they've always been the masters of that, and sort
Yeah,
of
they
giving
do.
you those subtle hints of where to go. And yeah, so I've really been enjoying it recently, and I mentioned it on again on the TikTok and the YouTube. That was follow if you don't already. Um, somewhat I can't really comment on that because Mac mentioned No Man's Sky, which I think is obviously built as a sandbox game, but I played an early version of that before they put everything into it. And I did enjoy my little bit on it, but it did feel a little bit empty. And I did move away from it quite quickly because at the time I wasn't big into sandbox and that I hadn't had all the updates and stuff, which we mentioned on a previous episode. Um, and then again, that I've not experienced myself, but I've heard so many stories about. Cornelius G mentioned Eve Online, which if you've
Yeah.
not heard of Eve Online, is sort of an MMORPG, so an online sort of like World of Warcraft, but it's set in space. But there is absolutely ridiculous amounts of detail going. I know that they've got like their own stock market and currency, and you can do whatever. There's no sort of real goal with it. You can do what you want. People set up different like unions and sort of not gangs per se, but they're sort of like oh we're trade unions and do all this together. And they sort of when it comes to that sandbox stuff, it feels like people are like living another life in sort of games and things like that. Like I have heard like there's a stock market, I'm sure, with like items, and they can be the economy can crash, and like all the stuff that you've got. That is not just a game where you go and pick something up or you go and grind. Like you have to work and really work to get them, and then suddenly sort of kick in the teeth. Oh well, there's been I don't know a planet found full of gold, so all your gold is worth absolutely nothing now, or I don't know some stupid over bloated planet has invaded another planet because they've got some resources they want, and suddenly the price of your resources goes up. Like it's
Cough,
just
cough.
so much detail. Yeah, I'm not referencing anything at all. But those I don't think I get into because I think I'm at the point in my life where I do not have enough time. and
Yeah, it's
I feel like people put it. They're not gamers. They play Eve Online, as in that is their life. They don't play like, oh, I'm not playing all these games coming out. Like I'm just I finish and I play Eve Online.
it's
Um,
commitment. I mean, I
it
I'm
is.
always skeptical about throwing myself into games that are like 40, 50 hours long. I mean,
Mm,
in COVID, when we were all stuck inside wanking and doing whatever, like I played Witcher 3 because I actually had time to play Witcher
yeah,
3, which I
yeah.
loved. And I always thought if we ever go into a war situation where we have to just stay indoors, I try and give Kingdom Come Deliverance
Deliverance, yeah, yeah.
a proper crack. Like I've played it,
So, so you are your fingers crossed for a war so you can play get your backlog done.
opportunity to catch up on a few games,
Well, I
but
take the positives.
I've played it, but for a casual play where you're trying to get immediate kind of satisfaction, it's not that type of game because it's
Yeah,
so unbelievably it works against you in so many ways. Like the realism is so ridiculous that
yeah.
it has its own rules and it goes against everything that video games have taught you. So I just think you really need a commitment and a time to just sit down and figure it out properly. And I think once you get the hang of it and you're in the zone, I think it's going to be really rewarding because that's what
Mm.
everyone says.
I do think it will help you in life as well because I do understand like sort of if you're wearing really bad clothes and like you stink and stuff like that, characters will react to that. So
They do.
maybe it can teach you life lessons for your own life.
To shower and yeah, turn
Shower
up
and do
presentable
what
and
you please.
things. But
Anyway,
I like the whole you start off as a peasant and then you work your way up.
yeah,
I
yeah.
quite like that. The other game which I've got both of them and I haven't played them yet, is Dragon's Dogma.
Mm, yeah.
And I've
I've
seen
heard about that. I've heard about that. I've heard. I don't want to drop a spoiler because it's a newer game, but I've heard something about that game,
hmm,
which I think is quite cool in it. All right, go ahead, like a few minutes if you don't hear. But I've heard you play through like the length of an actual game,
hmm.
and you feel like you finished a game, like a 20-hour game or something like that, and then the opening credits come on, and it's like it's Dragon's Dogma 2 now starts, and like things have changed. Like you go back, I don't know, you go back in time, and but like then the game actually opens up, and this is the game. Like I don't know if it classes it. Is Baldur's Gate a sandbox game where you can sort of do anything?
I don't
I I've,
know.
I know because that's one. Because at the minute I'm just thinking you automatically go to games that are really long, don't you? And think
Yeah, yeah.
that's a sandbox game because they've got that much content and stuff in them. But no, but so I'm gonna maybe dabble in a few more sandbox games, and if there's any sandbox games that you can think of that me and Box you've not mentioned that are really cool to have a go of, to have a try, drop them down in the comments, and we might just try them. Hopefully for Boxy when World War III starts. Anyway,
Oh, I hope so. Never mind.
anyway, where it comes to the last part of the show, the video game buster, where I give you a clue towards a video game. And I've made them a little bit hard the last couple of weeks, but you did get the last one, Boxy, considering I made it a little bit harder. Have we got this one, though? Last week I gave you the clue. Can you roll that beer mat up, please, Rockefeller?
No, I haven't got any clue. I don't know what you would say if you would roll up a beer mat.
Yep. See,
I mean, wait.
see.
I mean, the only clue that I got was
Hmm.
Rockefeller, which was a Fatboy Slim um song or an album or something like that.
Yeah.
That
So,
was
do
the
you
only
think
thing.
the game ends Fat Boy Slim?
I don't think there's any games out there that end in Fatboy Slim.
Dragon's Dogma 3, Fat Boy Slim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hellblade.
No, well, I'd be impressed if anyone got this one. Don't lie in the comments. I know when you're lying. So can you this is the first time I've ever put part of the answer in the clue because I couldn't think of anything more.
Can
So
you?
can you roll a beer mat up? So another word for a beer mat is a coaster. So roll a coaster.
Tycoon.
Rockefeller was a business tycoon. Roll a coaster tycoon. Oh, it's just so simple when you know the answer. He was onto something that Chris, I was going to say Chris Chegwin. Who was the guy? Millionaire. Chris, not Evans. Who presented Who Wants to Be a Millionaire back in
Chris
the early late
Tarrant.
90s? Chris Tarrant. He used to always say it's only easy if you know the answer. Yeah, he was onto something. Anyway, the one for next week says Woody has just asked that Geordie if he can play on the play park. Woody's just asked that Geordie if he can join in on the play park. Woody has just asked that Geordie if he's allowed to go with all the others on the play park. And that is your video game buster and your episode for this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd be so kind, drop us a follow on our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube. 30 something gave us. If you are listening on Spotify, you can follow us. That does help. So please drop a follow on there. I only found that out recently. I don't know what I'm doing. Also, please let me know whether we look better on this one, because for the last, I don't know, 8 episodes, I've been trying to make. Me and Boxy own decent cameras, right? They're not from the 1950s, but the settings are so hard on our recording software. I don't know why it looks like we've got about 5 pixels, like you're watching a PS1 game. So I think I fixed it. Let me know in the comments whether this one looks better, or whether you'd like to go back because our real faces are far too scary. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next one.
It's not pixels, it's just the way we look.